to say I wouldn't change a thing, 'cause in the story of our lives, the best of times through color glass. Time goes on enough to let me run fast, but every little now and then it creeps on back to shake my smile. I was wrong to say I wouldn't change a thing, 'cause in the story of our lives, the best of times through color glass. Time goes on enough to let me run past, but every little now and then it creeps on back to shake my smile.
Hey everybody, how you doing today? Happy Tuesday. I'm beginning to feel a little more normal, but I'm still sleeping like 15 hours a day, so this is nuts. So hopefully you guys are doing well. Got a couple things to cover today. Pull up our schedule here. Come on, load. Here we go. You're probably still getting asked all the time about that course eval, so please take a few minutes and do that. The honest feedback is helpful, and it is anonymous. I think I showed you guys last time what it looks like on my side, so yeah, we would love the feedback. So far behind on grading, I apologize, guys. It has been a really crappy semester. So hopefully it's going better for you guys than it is for me, but I will get to those as soon as I can. I just can't stay awake lately. So like going up and down the stairs wins me, which is really unfortunate. So I've got my espresso here, my giant mug, and we do our best to keep plugging away at it. All right, so we only have plotting left, if I recall. Yep, plotting this week. And then we are done with content. We can still do a lab. Do you guys want to do a plotting lab for practice? If you want one, I can post it. If not, because we're gonna plot in the final project, why don't we skip the lab? You don't need one extra thing to do coming into finals week. And then the way our scheduling works, our final is actually late, so we're not until 12/22. So we got a little bit of time on this one. So we got 2 weeks from today to get that final project in. I got 6 p.m. here. I can take it through like 11:59 p.m., but I'm going to have to grade them all the day after. I get like 24 hours after the final exam slot to get my grades in. before I start getting yelled at. So if you get them in this Tuesday, I'll get them graded Wednesday, and then I can actually post things on Thursday. It gives you guys a little bit of time if you have any issues with how you were scored. We can do that. All right. So yeah, we're moving right along. So plotting is actually not too bad. There's just one thing we need to do first. So we're actually going to use a library here in Python. So you might not have it installed yet. So what you want to do, you start up a project and you go to File, Settings. And in Settings, you have your Python interpreter here. And in your Python interpreter, these are all of the plugins you might already have installed. I've got a couple already because I've already installed some. But if you need to add one, the one we're looking for is matplotlib right here. So if you want to add one, you go to this little plus button here, and we'll just search for matplotlib, and it'll come up here, and you can click install package, and it should work perfectly for you in PyCharm. Works really well. If you're not using PyCharm, you can use pip to install it. Pip is a command line tool in Python. That'll install packages for you, and I think the iBooks has the instructions for that. Let me just double check that real quick. I thought they had it in here. Maybe it's in the next page. Let me see. No, I'm not seeing it. Let me go back and search. Good. All right. No, I'm not seeing it here. Oh, they send you the link to it of where you can download it if you want. But using the tools is so much easier. And matplotlib does use Numpy. So if you have any problems with it, let me know. I can send you the command that you need. But if you're using PyCharm, it should just work great here. We add that in. And then what we can do is we're going to import it. So in our code, the way that the book does it, and I'm just going to follow that to keep it consistent, and we say import matplotlib.pyplot. So the library is pyplot, and we're going to import that as plt. So this as lets me rename it, so I don't have to type pyplot the entire time. So just give me a shortcut, so I get plt dot, and I can do all sorts of cool things with plots. It's just a shortcut there. So then what we can do is we can graph some stuff. So all we need to graph is we need an X and a Y axis. And that's for the easiest little line plots. So, and you know, it's fine. So if we say X is equal to range, let's go from 1 to 10. And let's do, how about Y is range from, let's go, you know what, let's do a different list. Let's do, oh no, we'll do the same one, range from 1 to 10. We'll just do a straight little chart first. So once we have this, now we're going to do plt.plot, and then we give it the X and the Y, X and Y. And again, these can be named anything you want, right? They don't need to be named X and Y. I just did that so we know which one it is. And you say plt.show. It shows a function call. And that should be all we need to do to get a nice little graphical plot here. So pyplot is fantastic. Again, you know, a simple little straight line here. This is linear. Okay, that one's nice and easy. Now we could do a little bit more interesting one. We could say, I don't know if we do like a little expression here. So we could say X times X maybe, or X squared, right? Now let's do X times X for X in, we can't, let's do this X values. X values. Now we'll get X squared, right, as my Y. Right now we should get a nice little quadratic. And look at that, going on up, right? A little quadratic curve here. Yeah, or half of it, right? Because we're not going into the negative side. But, excuse me. Okay, so we could do a nice little plot here. So there's actually a really fun article here that I want to show you that uses, or that we could plot. I mean, the plotting is the right way to go about trying to find the solution here. So it's this thing called linear thinking in, or no, thinking in a non-linear world. There we go. That's the article. Of course, you guys can't see my screen. Hang on. Sorry. There's this really cool article in Harvard Business Review about this. And talks about how we often think linearly, but that's not often how the real world is. So we're going to imagine, oh, thanks, we want ads, yes. Come on. That we have a fleet of cars. We have SUVs that get 10 miles a gallon and sedans that get 20 miles a gallon. We've got equal numbers of each cars, and each car travels 10,000 miles a year. We can replace one model with a more efficient vehicle to lower our costs. So do we replace our 10 mile an hour SUVs with 20 mile per gallon SUVs, or do we replace 20 mile per gallon sedans with 50 mile per gallon sedans? So which one is better for us? Right, so we think that B, right, increasing from 20 to 50 is better, but it's not even close. And here, we can plot this. We can see what we're going to do is we're going to need to find the fuel usage here. So this is our SUV miles per gallon is 10, right? And our sedan miles per gallon is 20. Okay, and then we have a miles driven per year is 10,000. Right? So that's how many miles we drive per year for these cars. So to find the number of gallons of gas that we use, right? So the gallons of gas used is my miles driven per year divided by the miles per gallon. Right? So we'll do this for SUV is my SUV miles per gallon. And then the gallons of gas used, gallons of gas used for sedans is the miles driven per year divided by the sedan miles per gallon. Right? So there's nothing to plot here right now. All we're gonna wait on that here. What we're gonna do, we're just gonna see what those two values are. And we'll print the number of gallons we use for sedans. Right, so currently a SUV will use 1,000 gallons of gas per year. Actually doesn't sound like a lot, does it? Maybe it does. I don't know. And then the sedans will only use 500 currently. Right? Does that make sense so far? So what we want to do is we want to see how much gas we're going to use for each mile per gallon here. So what we can do is we can make a range. So let's do this as a MPG range. Let's go from 10 to 50. And I want 50 inclusive, so I need to go to 51. Okay, so starting at 10, go to 51. And this is the gallons used. And this is going to be per year. Is for each of these MPG ranges, right? So I'm going to say for MPG in MPG range, what do I want to do? Well, I want to take the miles driven per year. I want to divide by my miles per gallon. For each miles per gallon in that range to see how many gallons we use per year. Right? And then we can plot this. So I can take out those prints and we can plot. Here, we're going to plot the MPG range as my X and the gallons used per year as my Y. Excuse me. So we see, starting at 10, we use 1,000 gallons a year. Right? If we get all the way up to 50, we're only using 200 gallons per year. Okay, so we see we've got this nice curve here. So it's not linear at all. Right? You see that? Now what we need to see is we need to see what the difference is, right? The savings to go from 10 to 20 versus from 20 to 50 and see which one is a greater savings, right? Does that make sense? Because we wanted to say which one is better for us to upgrade. Do we upgrade from 10 to 20 or do we upgrade from 20 to 50? Okay, well, so from 20 here at 500 to 50 at 200 saves 300 gallons of gas per year per vehicle. But to go from 10 to 20, we're saving 500 gallons of gas per year. And that's what they show us here. So it's not a straight line. It's a nice little curved line here. So we can save 500 gallons from this part of the curve to go from 10 to 20, or 300 gallons to go from 20 to 50. So even going from 20 to 100 miles per gallon, they show here, wouldn't save as much gas per year as to going from 10 to 20. Because we'd only hit the 100 line here, right? If you got 100 miles per gallon, you'd only use 100 gallons of gas an entire year to go 10,000 miles. But that would only save you 400 gallons. So it's not a linear solution here. Right? So it's a really cool article. I'll post this one here in our Discord later, if I think of it, or I'll post it in chat for the minute, and then I'll come back and I'll post it later in Discord too, if I remember. All right, so we can do some cool stuff with our plotting to kind of analyze some of this data here, and it's nice, right? You just give it an X, you give it a Y, and boom, you're done. So it's pretty cool. Other fun things you can do, you can actually save those plots. It's got a lot of tools built right in, which are really fantastic. So I'm a big fan of the plots. So all we're going to need to do is these line plots for our project as well, right? To show what's my x-axis, right? Like how many, like how many hands, how many cards are in my deck when I start, and then the y-axis probably how many turns. So we have an x-axis and a y-axis, it should work. Wow, was that all screwed up? I just got to notice I was hosting someone else's channel somehow while I was live. Uh-oh. Maybe I screwed up on Twitch. That's no good. Didn't see that before. That's weird. All right, no one emailed me and said it's not working. All right, so that's some plotting. And you can plot more than one value if you want. You can add in additional plots on a single graph here. So that one was our miles per gallon, and then we could add a savings here. So we could also plot them. So if we had the gallons saved, right, is going to be, we want for, so this is the gallons used per year. It was going to be, for our SUV, gallons of gas used for SUV, right? Minus the gallons used per year. We want minus gallons for gallons used per year in SUV. Right, that'll tell us how much we save. So for every gallon used per year that we calculated here, we're going to take how many we used in the SUV minus the gallons in that calculation here. We can plot that one in addition to it. So we can also plot a second one. So this is, again, our MPG range. And now we're going to show the gallons saved as a separate plot. We can have two different plots on the same graph. Oops. Can I do that? Nope. What did we do wrong here? For gallons in, float object is not iterable. One should be. Oh, that's what it is. I copy pasted the wrong name in here. I need gallons per year. I had the gallons used SUV. That's what it was. Excuse me. And now we'll see our savings here, right? So at 10, we saved nothing. At 20, we saved 500. At 50, we've saved 800. So this is the savings line here, right? It's inverse of this one. Is that inverse? That's probably the wrong math term. Opposite, like a reflection. Right, and we can also then plot our savings for gallons saved SUVs. Let's do a gallons saved sedans is equal to, and now this one is going to be our gallons used for SUVs, for sedans, minus the gallons for gallons and gallons used per year. And let's plot that one. Now this one's actually going to be wrong because we don't want it to start here at 10 because we don't have a negative. So that's actually wrong. We want to start this one at 20 here. So we need to start that one at 20. Oh boy. Let's see. How do we do that one? So we only want the first, we don't need the first 10. So let's see if we can, let's see. So we only want from, say, like 10 on. We're going to skip the first 10 years. So we only want to go from 10 on there. Maybe that'll do it. Here, let's do that over here. From 10 on. Let's see if that one works for us. There. Yep, so we start at 20 here. So we skipped the first 10 years, right? Because we don't want to plot those. So this shows us our savings here. Does that make sense? So we can just pick which plots we want. Oh man, I'm sorry. Sammy, I don't know what happened. It shouldn't have started hosting if I was live. That's screwy. I'm sorry. I messed up then. You didn't miss too much. I can start back at the top if you want. Sorry, guys. Yeah. Yeah, so first couple things we did, we had to import matplotlib. So you start a project and you go to your file settings. And here in the Python interpreter, you can see if you have the package. It's matplotlib. If you don't have it, because you've never installed it, that's okay. Just hit plus, and then you can search for matplotlib, and you can click install, and it should install it for you. And it's also going to install Numpy because it needs Numpy, but it installs a couple packages that we need, which are awesome. We should get a couple packages that we need. And then we just import matplotlib, and the book does it. Imports the pyplot as PLT, just as a little shortcut saver. And plotting, at least for line charts, is just as easy as giving it an X and a Y. So we were doing a couple things here off of this Harvard Business Review article. I'll post that link again. This linear thinking in a nonlinear world. It's a really good article. So just looking at fuel savings here and how it's not actually a linear savings. So I need to put a legend in because this, you don't know what the different curves are currently. So we're going to work on adding a legend here in just a second now. Oops, that's not it. I got too many windows open here, sorry. Okay. So you can add all sorts of cool line properties, but legend is the important one. Let's do legend. So I want to add a legend. Plot.legend. And let's see if that'll do it for us. Now it adds it, but we didn't add any labels yet. So when we add our plots, we need to add some labels. So now we can add an optional label. This is gallons used here. This is, my label is gallons saved in SUVs. And this will be gallons saved in sedans. Awesome. And now we have a nice little legend here. So as we add plots, so you don't have to have multiple plots either. This is only if you want to on a single graph. You don't need to do that at all, but if you wanted to, you can put them in and then you just add a label and we show the legend. And we can have a nice little legend here for what this data is showing us. And our axes aren't labeled here. Bummer. Let's see, we need to label the axes. Let's see. Axis. How do we do that? Let's see. Sorry, there's like so many different ways to do these things. I always get mixed up on. There we go. Okay, so my plot then, I'm going to add plot dot my x label is mpgs, right? Because that's my miles per gallon. And my plot dot y label is gallons. Right, so now I have my mpg labeled on the x and the gallons labeled on the y. Maybe that's gallons, I don't know. We say used and saved, so I guess it makes sense to just leave that as gallons here. And we can have some nice labeling for our axes. Did you guys learn anything in the math class? I know you have to be at least in Calc 1, right, as a co-requisite for this course. And then you'll do Calc 2 next semester if you take 2001. Which makes it unfortunate. Like, you have lots of classes that are like must-pass classes. But if you guys didn't hear, hopefully you were checking your email. They are offering the same pass-fail mark. Oh, linear algebra. Oh, very cool. I think you guys will do that one too, right? Is that part of the program? But they're going to offer the same pass-fail mark, and you can opt into that if you don't like the letter grade that you get. But they did say check with your advisor just to make sure it's not going to screw anything up. So you'll see what letter you're going to get. I'll post all that, and then you can opt into turning it into a pass mark instead of whatever letter it is if you don't like the letter. So we've got that option, which is cool. Excuse me. Ooh, it has been a really crappy semester for me personally. So I hope you guys are doing better than me. And I apologize on getting all the stuff. It has not been graded. I'll be working on that. I've just been sleeping like all the time. This is a giant mug of espresso. And I'm just exhausted just walking up and down my stairs. Yeah, lots of major inconveniences for sure. So yeah, this is plotting. So some other cool things you can do with plotting. Let's see. Oh, I keep changing the wrong window here. The Zybox actually does a nice job of highlighting some of the things you can do, but what you want to know, where'd it go here? They've got a link, which is fantastic. Here. This link here will take you to the plot API, the application programming interface. These are all the things you can plot, all the things you can do, right, with plots. And there are a ridiculous number of plots that we can make and we can customize and we can do with Matplotlib. This tool is just phenomenal. So like any kind of graph you could think of, like if you want to do pie charts, that's not a pie chart, pie chart. You can make a pie chart, right? And it tells you how you can make a pie chart, right? And the different arguments you can give it and the defaults. If you want to make like a scatter plot, you can make a scatter plot with all sorts of cool things. If you want to do box and whiskers, right? Box and whisker plots. You can make box and whisker plots, right? So like any sort of graphing you can imagine, we can probably do with this library. This library is fantastic. And you can style it, you can make it pretty. It's really cool. So, we're just going to stick with the plain old plot, the line plot for now. There's other things you can do, you can experiment with later. I'll just refresh here on this page. Yeah, and using Numpy is fantastic. Numpy is made for doing like number organizing, and you can do math like signs and things. This arrange is really cool. It'll break it out. You can do some really sweet stuff with this. This tool is phenomenal. And I think it was in Prof. Peter's class. He actually uses that in his calc classes. He uses Python, has some little Python labs to do some illustrations, which are really cool. I'm very jealous that his Python class or his calc class gets to do that, because we had to do it all by hand. And I would have thought programming was really neat when I took it, but that's okay. Yeah, so all sorts of plots that you want to do. You can add annotations, you can add all sorts of cool stuff to it. It's easy to get overwhelmed, so just like pick the kind that you want to do, and then go from there and figure out what you want to do with it. So you can style them, you know, add text, add annotations. It's a little bit on Numpy. If you want to do multiple plots instead of individual plots, you can have multiple figures in a plot. If you want to do that, either way is okay. If you don't want to plot them on top of each other or subplots, and you know that's probably all we need to cover for plots. There's so much you can do. I don't want to give you a particular, this is what you must do aside from this a simple plot we're going to do for our final project. And I want to give you guys time for that final project as well. Yeah, so you guys have been doing great. So we're plugging along at it, having fun. So I know later on you guys will learn R as well. You can do all sorts of cool graphing stuff in R. It also can do cool stuff like that. And yeah, or MATLAB is very similar as well. You can do similar stuff in MATLAB. I'm partial to Python just because I like Python, and I think it's easy to do all this other manipulation stuff. And if we have data that comes out of files, we can open up files, right? There's the CSV reader. This import? Yeah, so once we add the library, so the first part, you have to add the library in your Python interpreter. So I'm just using the basic Python one here. I haven't used the others, or you can pick your virtual environment, whichever one you're using. Because you can have different environments. So the idea with your virtual environment is you might not want to install tons of libraries to your main Python one. So you can create these like copies of Python essentially. As long as you install matplotlib and you're using that environment, you should be in good shape. So for me, I'm using, what am I using? I'm using my main Python interpreter here. So that's my settings here for this project. And then what this import's doing, it's saying use the pyplot library out of matplotlib. And this as word is just saying, I just want to call it plt, just so I don't have to type this whole thing every single time. Just saves you a little bit of typing. So now I can use plt instead of the full pyplot here. Just a shortcut. The book does it, so I was trying to follow along so it looks consistent with the book. Wow, I can't hear out of one ear now. This is crazy. So for that final project, let me pull that one up here. All right, we're going to be graphing our number of hands, or number of cards, and then the number of turns that it takes for our final project. Is it in here twice? What did I do? What? Okay, that is screwy. Do you guys see it twice? Yeah, you can import the random library. We just import random, but you can rename it something else if you wanted. What did I do wrong here? Why is it in here twice? Okay, yeah, this one is wrong, so let me just delete that one, I guess. Wow. Oh, I put it in there as a placeholder. That's what I did. Guys, I'm sorry about that. I'll just delete that one. Nope. Can't work canvas. Okay, sorry guys. Yeah. Delete. So this is the right one here. Okay. Do the 22nd, 11:59 p.m. I still have to get the rubric in for you guys, but we're building a little war card game simulator. Right? Let's just assume ace is the highest. Ace is the highest card. 2 ace of each. What did I even say here? Oh my goodness, guys. Oh, I am so sorry. I'm a mess this semester. Oh, 2 through ace. 2 cards are 2 through ace of each suit. So like 2 through 10, jack, 2 through 10, jack, queen, king, and ace of each suit. So 52 cards total per deck. That's what that was saying. You each have a stack of cards. Okay. I think it probably made sense when I typed it. When I come back to it, I'm nuts. So we want to see then, right, as the deck size increases, and we're going to run it like 100 times for each deck size just to make sure that that random shuffling of cards, right, isn't going to impact that too much, and take the average of that. And we'll see our results. We're just going to plot. So with a 52 card deck, what's the average turns? And then maybe if we add 2 cards, if we do 54, I don't know, you can add 1 card. You can like, hey, how many turns does it take if we have 5 cards or 10 cards? I don't know. Or maybe you just want to go with probably even numbers if we're doing 2-player. So you could range every 2 or something. Pick some random cards out of the deck. Does that make sense, what we're trying to do here with this one? And just to build a simulation, this sort of idea that we want to, here's a problem, and I want to try and get some data on it. And we can simulate it in code, is sort of what we're going for with this. And it's just a simple little war game. So this is what we've got through the end of the semester then. I don't think I've got anything else for you guys on Thursday, so we can set that time aside for working on the final project, and then we'll set aside the lab time as well. On next Monday, I won't make you do another lab on plotting, because we're going to do plotting here in the project. And we can go from there. Sorry, I can't hear. It's really disorienting. So sorry about the trouble with the hosting earlier. I don't know what I did wrong with the channel. Thought I went live. I don't know. Maybe the auto hosting just got screwed up. Stop. Okay, and I'll post this code here. Oh, let me put the link in. That's what I can do. Put a little link in here. There. There's a little. This is where this problem came from. Here. Okay. You guys have any other questions? I was. Oh, weird. Yeah, it really got screwed up then. I'm sorry. Like auto-hosted. Yeah, I'm sorry about that. I should have been. I don't know. It's set to auto-host, but it's only supposed to happen when I'm not live. So maybe Twitch was having some trouble. Apologize for that. What else do you guys want to talk about? That's about all the content for the first semester. And I know it's been rough, so I appreciate you guys hanging in there. Do let me know if there's anything I can do for you guys. Please reach out. Happy to chat or set up Zoom calls or anything you guys need. And unfortunately, next semester is more of the same. So hopefully, I've gotten COVID. I've mostly over COVID. I'll get my daughter home soon, and my personal life will be better next semester, I'm hoping. So I'll be less flaky is the goal for you guys. But next semester is a lot of fun. We get a little deeper into object-oriented concepts, further into recursion. Then we start talking about some basic data structures and get you guys ready for 350, which is the Algorithms, Analysis, and Data Structures course. So we do some basic ones, which are really fun to do in Python, and then we'll do a more fun project as well at the end. Cool. All right, yeah, if you guys don't have any other questions, we can set aside the rest of this. You guys can work on the final project. Again, if you do want to pair up, you guys are welcome to pair up. Usually I make people work in pairs because it is really interesting to work together with people. Much more fun. Yeah, thank you so much. And please stay in touch. Let me know what I can do for you. If you have questions about the final project, please ask. Don't just sit there jamming your head against the wall for hours and hours and hours being stuck. Try for at least half an hour or something, but please reach out and let me know how I can help get you unstuck. That's what I'm here for. I want to give you pointers, get you moving in the right direction so you're making forward progress for sure. And I know this final project is worth a lot. And then I did want to offer, if you guys didn't do so well on a previous project, I can take your final project score and just take that score and stick it in for one of the other projects. I know you haven't gotten scores on them yet. I apologize. I will be working on that. as soon as I can. But if one of these did not go well for you and you did better on the final project, I can just swap the score in for you. And hopefully that'll help give you a little bump there, if that makes any sense. So, because I mean, we're doing tons of work here in the final project, so I can replace one of the individual projects with it if you guys want. That'll need to be an opt-in thing. So when I have all the grades in and I grade your final, you can look at it and let me know if you want that on the Wednesday. This is due the 22nd, which is a Tuesday, Wednesday the 22nd, and I've got to get grades in by the 24th. Holy crap, before I get yelled at. That's Christmas Eve. I'm not ready for this semester to be over, but that's okay. It's just flying by. So I can do that for you guys if you didn't do as well as you wanted to on one of those projects. As you know, it's 2020. Don't forget the iBooks. I'll be scoring that as well. Let me change that. I can move that to 11:59 p.m. as well. But do keep up, because this is a ton of work if you haven't been keeping up with it, especially those iLabs. They're rather particular. And the labs are a big portion of those overall points as well. I forget what the total percentage is. And let me know in the course emails what you think about those iLabs. Some people are not a fan of them, but they understand that it's good practice. And that's sort of the goal with it. Like it's not meant to be tedious or busy work at all, but it's meant to be practice on being detail oriented. Like this is the exact output, what it needs to look like. All right, I need every single space to line up. And not that every single time it's all that important, but it's good practice to be that focused on, okay, this is exactly what I need to accomplish here based on a spec. It's good practice. So I've been a fan of them. If everyone starts to say they're just terrible and a waste of time, I'm open to doing away with them, because I know we have our own labs as well that we do every week. But for me, they seem like they're good additional practice to get you working. And that's what I like them for. It's just getting you writing Python code. So at the end of the day, that's what I'm looking for, is if you can write Python code successfully, I feel like we've done a good job this class. So that's the goal with that. All right, I'll stop rambling. You guys take care. Reach out, find me on Discord, call me, email me, text me. We can set up Zoom calls, screen shares on Discord, whatever you guys want to do. I'm here for you for the rest of the semester, help get you done whatever you need. If you haven't got the labs in yet, I will take them late. Please, I just want you to do them. Again, they're for your practice, for your benefit, to try these exercises. If you're stuck on these, please ask. Usually we just sit in the room together and we work on them together. And if you get stuck, you raise your hand or shout at me and I come over and I help you with it. So like these aren't meant to be like a homework assignment that you have to do totally on your own. If you have any questions at all, shoot me an email, text me, call me, whatever, and I can help you work through these labs. The idea is we're just applying some of the things we've talked about. And it'll be the same for next semester as well. When you have a lab assignment, if you get stuck on anything, just reach out. That's our time to practice together is the goal with those labs. Okay. I didn't write any more quizzes. I'm sorry. I just got tired of doing them. And I think you guys were tired of taking them as well. If you've not done well and you want another one or two to bump you up, I can add some more quizzes as optional quizzes for you guys. Let me know. Again, I'm hopefully here to help. And that's the goal. All right. You guys take care. Have fun learning more math or wherever Twitch takes you next. All right. Take care, guys.